So I'd like to make a motion to start the license board meeting for Wednesday, November 2nd at 5:18 PM. Can I get a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So moved and so as part of new rules with remote sessions, we have to do some kind of roll call with each motion. And in my research, I found out the easiest roll call to do is where I just initially just state that all three licensed commissioners present have voted in favor. But at the start of the meeting, I like to say, I also have to state all three that are present. So the three licensed board commissioners present are Michael Moriarty, Jose Correa, and myself, Anthony Luciano. And the our first items for the evening are for our 2022 motor vehicle renewals. And first on the list is REP Services Co. Inc. 145 Hampden Street, and it's a class 2. And this was tabled from October 5th.
So this was the business I had a question about, that when you drive, it looks like it's closed. So I called him and he said he's still open. There's just, I guess, a drought of cars. So the motor vehicle shops, they're not able to obtain as many cars right now. So that's why it looks like that, but he's very much operating. He's safe.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. And so is anything outstanding?
No.
Okay.
Make a motion to approve.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
So moved. All three licensed board commissioners present have voted in favor of approval of this license. Next, we have Michael Krassler doing business as Hillside Auto Sales, 911 Main Street. And this is a class 2 license.
And everything is in.
Everything is up.
Yes, everything's in.
Make a motion to approve.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, so moved. All three licensed board commissioners present have voted in favor of this approval. Next one is Mohammed A. Dib doing business as E-Trade Auto Center, Inc., 1635 Main Street, and this is for a class 2 and repair.
Northampton Street.
Oh, sorry, it is Northampton. Street.
Northampton.
I don't know why.
Alex, is everything in for this?
It is.
Okay.
So moved.
Second that, all those in
Second
favor?
that. Aye.
Aye. Motion has been approved by all three licensed board commissioners present. Next we have, should I just take these two together?
Yes.
So we have John Boulais II doing business as Boulais Service, 901 Main Street for repair, and doing business at Springdale Auto Sales, 901 Main Street for class 2.
So just the FYI, John Boulais Senior passed away.
Yeah.
John Boulais II is the son, and he's taken over.
Oh, okay.
His name is now on.
Okay, good.
Absolutely. And in full disclosure, although I do not think it amounts to a conflict of interest, the Boulais family were clients of mine for years and years, including these businesses.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
So moved. All three licensed board commissioners present have voted in favor of these licenses. Next, we have Michael Marcotte doing business as Marcotte Ford, 1000 and at 1010 and 1025 Main Street. This is for a class 1 and repair license.
And 933 Main Street also.
Oh, and 930.
And that's
I'm
not
just-
on the application,
It's
but everything is in.
so there. It's all there. Make a motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So moved. All three licensed board commissioners present have voted in favor of this license. Next, we have Gary Rome Hyundai, 150 Whiting Farms Road, class 1 and repair. Alex, is everything in?
Everything's in.
Move to approve.
Second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So moved. All three licensed board commissioners present have voted in favor of this license. Okay, next we have Michael Richardson's doing business as Riverdale Auto and Sales. Oh, sorry. Riverside Autos and Sales, 85 North Bridge Street, Class 2 and Repair.
Everything's in.
Vote to approve.
Second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
So moved, all three license board commissioners present have voted in favor of these licenses. Next we have Stephen Stathis doing business as Contemporary Auto Sales, 63 Shawmut Avenue. This is just a Class 2 license.
Everything's in for that business.
Motion we approve.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
So moved. All three license board commissioners present have voted in favor of this license. Next, we have Carlos Cruz doing business as J&W Wally LLC, 243 Elm Street, Class 2 and Repair.
Everything's in.
Vote to approve.
Second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
So moved. All three license board commissioners present have voted in favor of this license, these licensors. Next, we have Edward O'Brien doing business as O'Brien, 50 Anderson Hill, Class 2 and Repair.
Everything's in.
Vote to approve.
Second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
So moved. All three license board commissioners present have voted in favor of these licenses. Next, we have Edward O'Brien doing business as O'Brien.
We're on number 12.
Oh, wait, sorry, I'm not checking my system, sorry.
And cars in.
Michael Kennedy.
Yes.
Michael Kennedy doing business as Carl's Inc., 600 Main Street, Class 2 and Repair.
So Michael Kennedy was in our meeting last month and he still hasn't entered a tax agreement. So he's not in compliance with the city right now. He owes a lot of taxes.
Second that, all those in favor?
Aye.
So moved, so this license will be tabled till our, I believe it's gonna be a December 7th meeting.
Yep.
Yeah.
Till our next meeting.
Did you make progress on the condition of the property? That's good. Okay.
There's moving on.
Yeah.
Credit when credit's due.
Yeah. He has it.
Good.
Next one item is Porfirio Santiago doing business as Extreme Auto Body LLC, 170 Main Street, Section B, Class 2 and Repair.
And everything's in for him.
Vote to approve.
Second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
So moved. All three license board commissioners present have voted in favor of this. Next, we have Darnell Jones doing business as Car and Truck Max Auto Sales, 395 Maple Street, Class 2 and Repair.
There now owes property taxes.
Move to table.
Second that,
Oscar is, well, mine is,
all those, sorry,
That
second
thing
that,
with
all
the-
those in favor?
aye.
Aye. So moved, all three license board commissioners present have voted in favor of tabling this.
Yeah.
Next, we have Oscar Reyes doing business as Reyes Auto Sale, 100 Main Street, Class 2 and Repair.
Same thing with Reyes Autos. He owes taxes from multiple years back.
First, also need to make a disclosure that many years back, I also had represented Mr. Reyes, but not this business. I don't perceive a conflict, but do need to make the disclosure. I'll move to table.
Second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
So moved, so we're tabling Oscar Reyes. Tanya Roman doing business as TWC Auto Body Repair, 56 Jackson Street. This is a repair license.
Yep, so everything's in for this business. Also, we asked her to remove all the dumpsters when we last renewed her, and she's been in compliance.
Vote to approve it.
Yep.
Second that, all those in favor?
Aye.
So moved, so all three license board commissioners present have voted in favor of approval. Next, we have J Gonzalez Enterprises LLC doing business as JGL Truck Sales, 27 Jackson Street, and this is a Class 2 license.
So I'm sorry, I forgot to put tabled from last month. This is Evelyn Gonzalez is here. This is the one that Toby Wilson was representing, but everything's in for her. She removed the other individual out of all the LLCs, out of the business certificate, and everything is submitted. So it's only her name on everything right now.
And is that true about the factual ownership as well, that there's no equity interest?
Well, we own the business together and he's not here right now, so I can't do anything about the signature, there's two signatures. But
It's just the building.
I've been running this by myself for a year now, for almost a year, and it's, you know, it's been fine. All my taxes, everything is paid. I don't know what to tell you, you can feel free to pass by, I keep a very tight ship, everything is well.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm in the neighborhood on occasion, so I drive by and I see, and it's not a concern about the conditions.
Well, she can do.
It's just knowing the history. The concern is always, you know, especially with a criminal enterprise, we can't have that anymore. And so that separation is important.
And we actually, I'm not anticipating a problem. We have someone from our legal department, and I just want to see if Kathleen, do you have anything to add?
No, I think it's admirable that she's been running the business for a year and the taxes are paid. She took the name off. I think the only question that was rendered to me, and this is up to the board, I mean, you can certainly give the license. If you wanted to put a condition on there that said that this person can't participate in this business, just the person we're granting, just to Mrs. Gonzalez, that, you know, is certainly acceptable, but if you're giving her the license, I think you can do that.
Yeah, and I mean, that's the point of my question is, you know, no issue with you whatsoever. And so I would favor a condition of that kind so that if circumstances change and there is going to be some active involvement in the business at a minimum, you need to come in and ask us about it because we would have a condition saying you can't do that. And I think that's important to do.
Okay.
Yeah.
So do you want to make that motion?
Yes, but let me make sure I frame it the right
Yeah,
way.
take your time.
Yep.
No rush. Take your
And
time.
is there any other feedback from anyone before I go making motions?
No, she's provided all the paperwork that we have requested.
Yeah, good. No, we want you to thrive as a member of our business community and do well. And, you know, we have to be responsible about licensing conditions. Indeed. So I will move to approve, subject to the condition that, and so how do I, you know, do I have to put the full name out or just to say that, you know, any partner convicted of criminal activity on the premises shall not be actively engaged in the operation of the business during the term of this license? That catch it? Okay. Do you feel, counsel, I'm okay with that?
Yeah, I think that we want to just be, I understand you don't want to put the person's name out there because it's a public hearing, and I get that. I mean, what happened was in the newspaper, it was published, so I think you can put the name on there, but if you'd rather not, and that's certainly okay, just say that, it's conditioned upon, no criminal activity. Strike that, let's say it again. No participant, like that, no app, I can't even say that because we're not giving him the license. I think the way you said it, I think maybe if you just say, what was the person's name again?
Yeah, I mean, that's part of the reason I didn't throw it out there is I can't remember.
Oh, is that right?
You want to know the name?
I mean, I actually would just like to
Yes.
keep it broad. I mean, so you can almost use the same
Okay.
format
Yes.
if there's any
Okay.
similar situation in the future. We hope there's
Okay.
never, but you know, we
Then-
want it, we want to just be even handed, right? That's,
So
So,
long,
yeah.
I think I have an idea. If you put in there, it's conditioned upon that none of the owners of the applicant business participate if they've been convicted of a crime. Does that make
Yeah.
sense?
yeah,
Okay. Because you want to bring in there that you want to bring in there the management. You know,
Right.
so we don't want anyone managing this business who's been convicted of a crime.
Right, right. And, it's just some gatekeeping, so we're not like opening the door to revisiting the past.
Right.
So before we move on, you want to get it again for me?
Let me give it my best shot. So, I move to approve, subject to the condition that no person convicted of a crime shall participate in the management of this business.
Correct.
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
So all three license board commissioners present have voted in favor of this license.
You're all
Thank you for
set.
coming in.
Yeah, good luck.
Yeah,
Yeah.
unless you want to stay and watch the rest of the meeting.
Yeah.
Evelyn,
You're welcome.
Evelyn, do you have any questions? No, okay.
Yeah, thank you, Kathleen.
You're welcome. Is that all? You perceive any other issues?
The only thing Kathleen and I have been speaking about, no, the microbiology renewal. And I know that's a kind of our old business, so I don't know if you wanted to speak to the board on any of that before you go.
Take it out of order.
Can we move to take it out of order?
Okay, and which one is it again?
It would be under old business.
So, actually, there's nothing printed on the agenda in front of me.
No,
About
we
old
don't-
business.
because it's just old.
Just carried forward. Okay, so move to take old business out of order, this particular,
Decider,
yeah.
Second
this
that?
particular item.
all those in favor?
Aye.
So move, all three license board commissioners present, I voted in favor to, take this old business item of the, pocketed license for, Michael Valley, at this point. Kathleen?
Yes. Okay, it's my understanding that there is a liquor license being held. Actually, we're looking to renew it. There's been an issue with it. If I'm correct, is it Franco Restaurant? Is that
Yeah,
right?
Franco Club down on Lyman Street.
Franco Club, okay, because I did do a little bit of looking into this issue. And the license holder, the company is no longer operating as a business in good standing. It was involuntarily dissolved by the Commonwealth. What that means is that the manager or the person who owns the business has not filed annual reports. You have to file an annual report every year. And usually the issue is the reason why they didn't file is because they owe taxes to the Commonwealth. It's also my understanding, and I know because I was involved in this litigation, that this particular license holder owes fines to the city of Holyoke. So before we can entertain any potential transfer of this liquor license, that would have to happen first, meaning that Franco Club, this entity has to become in good standing by filing the annual reports, paying the taxes. We have to pay what he owes the city of Holyoke. Then, as this board knows, you have to have approval before you can transfer a liquor license. You have to have approval from the state, the ABCC. That would be the second part of it. So if this person really wants to transfer this license, and I understand why we want this to happen, because of the quota system, that he would do what he needs to do, become an act, get his license, get his act together with respect of his the business, file the annual reports, pay the taxes, pay what he owes us, then file the application, and then perhaps we might be able to do this. It's my understanding that he may be looking for a potential buyer, or not a buyer, someone to transfer it to. Am I right about that?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I guess we're kind of waiting on that. I don't think there's been any activity on that. I don't know if this person, Tony, do you know if this person knows that he has to do these things?
Yes.
At our last meeting, Michael Valley was here and we explained the things he needed to do, and that time was running short because we were doing our renewals. So, we did make him, I think we made him aware of everything.
Yeah, and he was also in my office today to pick up some paperwork. I asked him for an update and now he's looking for a potential business to transfer it to. So that's the latest about Mike.
Okay, well, hopefully, you know, I don't know how much we're talking about. The fees, I would think he would be able to do. I think the fines are, actually, they kind of accumulated, but probably the biggest issue is with the state, paying what he owes the state in taxes and getting that taken care of. Hopefully, Mike will do this and, you know, we can move forward with the transfer of the liquor license. So I'll be open for information as you receive it. And if this comes to this board again, I'd be happy to get on and participate in the hearing.
I just wondered, do you have anything to add, given the fact that the location of the license is currently a cannabis dispensary?
Well, that's one of the things, yes, because I'm wondering, and perhaps I'm mistaken. If the transfer you can transfer a license to another location.
Yep.
You can transfer a license to another individual or entity. The biggest issue is that whoever the person who receives the license, the transferee, they have to operate it. I think you already know that. If they don't operate the business and they give it delegate to someone else, that's really a big deal. That's very serious. The ABCC will come down. I know they've done it in other municipalities. So that's a big deal. But my thinking was, and perhaps that isn't correct, is the idea to use the liquor license at Lyman Street, or is it the idea to transfer it to another location?
Well, it can't be used at Lyman Street because Lyman Street is now a cannabis dispensary.
Right.
So yeah,
Right.
so we need to but our concern was just, are we in any type of jeopardy by renewing a liquor license for a location that we know is a cannabis business?
Well, right now, we're not at that, right? We have not renewed the license, or,
No, but if we don't renew it by the end of this year, it goes away.
well, that's why it's important to get in touch with Mike. And really the ball, and this is, I understand the concern here because the ball is in his park. I mean, we can't really do anything until he does, because as you know, can't transfer a license if they have taxes. You just can't do that. And the licensee is the corporation. If the corporation doesn't legally exist because it's been dissolved by the Commonwealth, that's just another problem. So first things first, he has to fix that. And then, you know, hopefully he'll find someone to transfer it to another location, and gets approved by the ABCC. And I get you, I understand the timing pressure of it here, but I think that you raise a good point. I didn't realize that was, that it is a concern. I have to say, I don't think that, plus the fact that it's not just being cannabis, we would be renewing a license to an entity that doesn't exist legally.
So Kathleen, what was also discussed at our last meeting was, because of the time it takes for an actual transfer to go through, this board would have to renew it and do the transfer as well, because we'd have to renew it because the transfer would take 3 to 4 months. So
Well,
that's another issue.
if you're talking about doing something simultaneously, let's say if he comes to you, it's November 2nd. If he comes to this board and says, hey, look I have this entity, they're this person, you know, they don't owe taxes, and I want to transfer to them. You might be able to, if you can get the application in before December, I think that you might be able to do it that way. But I think it's a problem to renew it now. And if he can come a year from now, for all we know. I think that's an issue. I think he really needs to step up and do it as soon as possible. And then we file the application. If we do it before December, okay. And the fact that it doesn't exist, I think we could get around that because he's transferring it.
Yeah.
But if he doesn't have anybody, and I don't know, I think have you talked to him about this before? I think you might have.
Yeah, we were very pointed about this last month.
Yeah.
So he understands, he knows this. Do you get the feeling that he's serious? Or you think he's just kind of
No.
playing games?
I don't think he's playing games, it's just he's just not realistic.
But so what I'm curious is, because nothing's gonna happen this month. We don't even have another meeting till December. But and we have 2 meetings in December. Let's say our second meeting in December, he comes to us with the transfer and the renewal. What is your counsel to the license board if that, on that, if that happened?
It's, if he comes to the board in December, and he's got a buyer. I shouldn't say that because it's really not buying, you're not selling a license, it's transfer. I think it's typical to call it that. But if he comes to the board in December, okay, and he has someone, yes, I think you could do it. My biggest concern, I understand why you're saying it's not realistic either. I don't know what he's asking for it. Probably, I mean, as you know, all liquor, I mean, he's got all liquor, not just the seasonal or beer and wines. He's got all liquor and they're valuable. He might get somebody. I'm not sure how reasonable he's gonna be. But the way out of this is to do it simultaneously. I think that if we renew it now, what happens if he never comes? What happens if he just decides not to do anything with it? Then we're continuing to give a license to a company that doesn't exist, has no prospects for transfer. I think that legally, I think that's an issue. Yes. I think we really need to get him, and even if it's another phone call, another outreach, say, look, we had a board meeting, and you can do this, but you need to act quickly. You need to come to us with your application and somebody who's to transfer the license to. If he can do that by December, I think I heard December 7th. And what's the other meeting?
And then we just have another one within a week or 2 later, but before
Okay.
the end of December.
Yeah, if you want to reach out to him and express the time pressure that if he's going to do this, he really has to do it very soon, within a month.
Because theoretically, he's got an asset of value until December 31st, and then it doesn't exist anymore.
I think that's accurate.
Yeah.
I mean, it's funny how a lot of people say you can sell licenses, and you can use a license as an asset if you're pledging a mortgage, or you're going into bankruptcy, or you're actually selling the business and you're looking at a purchase price, and that's probably what he'll do, and that makes sense. So that's correct, and I think that's what helps the transfer process, is that it's worth something.
Right. And then, the one other sort of side question I think that involves, so, let's imagine he does come in, he struck a deal. I mean, this is good for everybody. The city gets its taxes paid, the Commonwealth does. It's not a burdensome thing to revive a corporation if you have a good bookkeeper to just fill out the forms. And he does all of those things, obviously, and we got a $1,000 fee. All of that is very good for the city and the Commonwealth and everyone involved. But there, again, we've revived a license at a location that is also licensed to a cannabis facility. I think we're in kind of a novel situation here because cannabis licensing is so new. But my sense is, if it's overtly because there's a pending transfer and everyone knows there will be no sale of alcohol on the premises, and it's all pending this, probably I don't see why that would be a legal barrier. But if it just existed in the world where theoretically he could rent a corner in the space and violate the cannabis laws, now we'd have a huge problem, so just another thing to think about. What kind of condition do we express so that you give a license that you can't actually use until it's off of there?
One thing I would indicate is that regardless of the transfer, I don't think that the property, I don't think that should be used for alcohol sales. I mean,
No, it can't be.
Yeah. So I think that when he comes to you, the person he's going to transfer to, it's going to be a new entity and a new location.
Yeah.
That's what I would perceive to be happening here. If you think there's something else, then yeah, I think we have to worry. I think we have to think about it and
Yeah.
think it through carefully, because we don't need the ABCC coming down on the city of Holyoke.
Right.
So again, this is all dependent on Mike, how much he really wants to do this. I'm hoping that he will, because the value of it. And I don't know if he's even looked. Alex said he got his papers today, so hopefully he will come before your last meeting, at least your last meeting, with a new entity, a new location. The person you're gonna transfer it to appears there to you, so you can talk to this person and grant the renewal and the transfer, and send it to Boston. And, I think that's the way to go. That's the way, with the least risk, I think.
So just to repeat, thank you, just to repeat what you said, the only way you recommend the license board approving the renewal is if it comes hand in hand with a transfer.
That's how I
Okay.
would do it. Yeah,
Okay. Thank you.
you're welcome. One question, when you do renewals.
We're gonna lose the license. Oh, sorry.
Strike that. I just have one question. If you're doing a transfer, is it your practice? Do you usually renew it? I'm guessing you probably don't. It's probably just a transfer and you send it to Boston, approve it and send to Boston, and that's it, right?
No, we have, when a renewal and transfer is happening at the same time, they have to renew it as well.
Yeah.
Because
Okay.
they don't, because it takes 3 months.
Yeah.
So the license would, if they didn't renew it, the license would actually expire, it would expire.
Right.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
we want the revenue.
Thank you for that. That makes sense, and I appreciate that information.
Thank you.
Great, thank you.
You're welcome. Have a good evening.
You too.
Thank you, you too.
Thank you.
Okay, so just organize. Next on the agenda, we're moving into the section on alcohol license renewal, annual off premises. And oh wait, we don't have
No applications, because those are just the ABCC retail licenses that we send out to the state. So I didn't put them in there. And there's only off premise right now because the on premise, they're still going through an inspection. So I didn't want to put nobody on the agenda if they haven't had an inspection by the building department.
thank you.
Yes,
Okay, so should we take these all together?
yes, because everything's in for all of them.
Okay, perfect.
Move to approve items 1 through 6 under the 2023 alcohol license renewal list.
I think I'm supposed to, for the record, am I supposed to state their names? For the recorded record?
Yeah.
We should read them out.
All right.
I
I'm at it.
know.
Go ahead, Michael.
All right, so that will include, is hoping, John V LLC doing business as One Stop Discount Liquors at 165 Suffolk Street, Masback LLC DBA City Gas at 3 Brown Avenue, Sriji 202 Corp. doing business as Route 202 Liquors at 518 Westfield Road, JD Fairbank Inc. doing business as Crazy Andy's Liquors at 7 Cabot Street, ADA Market Corp. doing business as Appleton Market at 433 Appleton Street, and Track 2 Convenience LLC doing business as Racing Mark Fuels at 330 Main Street.
Second that? All those in favor?
Aye.
So moved. All 3 license board commissioners present have voted in favor on the approval of these alcohol license renewals. Michael, you could do voice work.
Well, thank you.
Okay, our next section is for common vitulers licenses renewals. And Alex, can we take these all together?
Yeah, just accept number 7.
Leave 7 out.
Yes.
Okay. So on the list is Marcotte Ford Sales LLC doing business as Lugnuts Cafe, 1025 Main Street, New England. Authentic Eats LLC doing business as D'Angelo, 2175 Northampton Street. China House, 322 Appleton Street. CNL Diners LLC doing business as Denny's, 2173 Northampton Street. Quick Food doing business as Burger King, 2177 Northampton Street. Finney Ice Cream, 1 Finney Road. Skipping number 7 for now. Holyoke Pizza, 213 South Street, Unit 9. And Track 2 Convenience LLC doing business as Racing Mart Fuels, 330 Main Street. Can I get a second to approve these common victual renewals?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. So moved. All 3 licensed board commissioners present have voted in favor of those common vitular renewals. And the one we need to discuss is Paul and Sons LLC doing business as City Pizza, 420 High Street.
Well, they owe taxes, and workers' comp. So yeah,
Move to table.
Second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So moved. All 3 licensed board commissioners present have voted to table Paul and the vitulers renewal for Paul and Son LLC doing business as City Pizza. Next, we have 2 special 1-day licenses. I just have to catch up on my paperwork. Okay, so these are 1-day alcohol license. First, we have it's one at Holyoke Community College, 164 Ray Street on December 9th, 2022, 6 to 10 p.m. Let's see. 12 people?
it's like a chef table event. It states, so they owe me a payment, liability insurance, and a fire inspection sign off.
Move to approve subject to the delivery of the.
So, wait, I just have some questions. Why are they applying for a license if it's a staff? It says staff only as,
Security.
oh, security. But this is public people as 12?
It's a private event, it's a public place.
So why do they need a liquor license?
It's a public,
want-
business.
So space, it's not licensed.
They're using the space to work, so
Okay,
they're doing a license too. We have to have liquor inside that place. Yes,
but aren't those public events?
no.
Okay. Sorry, go ahead.
That good, that make more to approve.
Second that, all those in favor?
Pending
Pending.
Pending, insurance,
payment
fire,
and
payment.
clearance. Thank you.
Thank you, Alex.
Yep.
And Holyoke Boys and Girls Club, 70 Nick Cosmos Way, November 4th, 5 to 10 p.m.
Same thing with, so they're having issues right now with the fire department. The fire department doesn't want to clear the gym for the 1-day events. So now they're looking into, doing the event outdoors in a tent, but for happy hour, she called it. But the fire prevention people still need to clear her for that. So I told her, we'll see what the fire department says, and because getting insurance, liquor liability for 1 day is really expensive. So I told her just to get a quote, hold off on it until she gets the clearance, because I wouldn't want her to pay if the fire department people are not gonna clear her.
Yeah, there's new people at the fire department.
Okay, that's all.
And we're gonna talk about this in the meeting. That's an item on the minute. This is only in 2 days and they don't have.
She's aware of that, and we've been working hard and trying to get this,
She'll make everything's involved, so.
yeah. They want her to, it's in the gym, and they want the Boys and Girls Clubs to get the whole building sprinklered.
That's technically, because if you start having alcohol there, you're changing the use according to the fire prevention. code building. So-
That's outrageous.
But that's what the new people are doing.
I'm sorry, but to try to use a one-off fundraising event for an organization that supports children the way the Boys and Girls Clubs do, to undermine their fundraising.
I don't think we need to look at the organization. It's their policy, and I don't think they should bend their policy for the organization. So I don't agree with you. They can't, that would be wrong if they bent their policy.
I mean,
That's never been done.
I've never heard of such a thing, and nobody's getting a sprinkler system in 2 days.
Nobody.
That
She
sprinkler
can't
system's
even
gonna cost
They
hundreds
can't
of
even
thousands of
afford it.
dollars.
Yeah, they can't afford it.
Never.
I mean, also the security arrangement says RSVP only.
It is
I don't-
RSVP only, so, they
That's not a
have-
security arrangement.
So,
Private event.
so the way she explained it to me, because I asked her about that as well, I'm sorry. I asked her about that, and there's gonna be somebody in the door, and if you're not on the invitation list, you're not able to get in.
But
So it's by list only.
but a 250 person party, we would require security for. So I don't think that's acceptable either.
Yeah,
So I think we could put a condition that they hire a detail officer.
yes.
That would solve that. And I think, obviously, they can't have their event if we don't approve it subject to conditions. So I
Yeah.
would move that we approve, subject to the conditions of approval from the fire department,
And,
retain a security detail. And is there anything else? that-
And just proof of liquor liability.
Right, and that they obtain all the remaining necessary paperwork, which they, like I said,
Yes,
should only do when they have their situation
exactly,
with the fire department worked out.
correct. Yeah, yeah.
We're gonna talk about that. Don't worry, it's on the agenda.
Their names are on the agenda.
Yeah, I even put it, it's on the agenda. So are we, do you want to second that?
I second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, so moved. So all three licensed board commissioners present have voted in favor of this event. Pending those conditions listed are met. Okay.
Oh, I have one thing to add on their old business
Okay,
right now.
yeah,
Okay.
you got the floor.
Yep, so I just wanted to let the board know that the transfer of sportsman to the Armor Yard went through. The ABCC approved it. And it was wholly of discount liquors. So those two transfers came back approved.
The building governors are with, yeah, they're not gonna be operational until spring,
Yep, so April.
April, but they have their license transfer went through.
And that's for the outside space or
No.
something ancillary to it?
They're putting like a pizza place.
Oh, right, the old armor,
Yes.
So.
Location.
the old-
Great.
Mark,
Marco.
yeah, yeah,
And Dennis,
yeah.
Marco and Dennis. Mhm. Nice, guys. Yep. So that's it.
Okay, any other old business?
No, I just wanted to update you guys on that.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Okay, so now we're on to new business and we have policy changes from the fire department. And it was Chief John Kadewicz, how does it? Kadewicz and Captain Luis Izquierdo, Izquierdo
Means black.
means left. Yeah. So an update on this, the mayor had a meeting, which happened last week that I was invited to. And the fire department was there, Jeff Trask from the city emergency management, Michael Bissonette from legal, Damian Cote, the War Memorial Commissioner, Chris Sims, Mayor Garcia, Alex, and Jack, and I attended Zoom. I was sick last week. And the fire department has a new chief, and he wants to institute a policy change where prior to this, their policy was that the fire department approve liquor licenses if they were inside. And their new policy change is they want to approve all one-day liquor licenses going forward. It's just straight off, they approve it. No, we don't have, Alex doesn't have to analyze it to say, oh, do we send it to the fire department or not? Does it need approval? Their policy is now they want to approve everyone. And it appears that in the, it appears that it's been the chief's discretion as to how they wanted to handle it, and with the new chief, he wants to handle it different.
So it's always been required for fire prevention to sign off on special 1 days. From my understanding, it was anything over 100 people. According to the new fire chief, it doesn't matter if it's 10, 20, or 100 people, they should be signing off on all alcohol permits.
And are they gonna do to everyone what they've just signaled they're gonna do to the Boys and Girls Club?
They tried doing it to Wisteria. I heard.
I see that.
War Memorial, yeah, they're doing
Yeah.
it.
So again, it's new staff, so there's new people coming in because Captain Kevin used to do it before. But I guess this is, from my understanding, their inspection for a special 1 day is not supposed to be as thorough as like a restaurant that has a bar. But according to the new captain, no, they're getting just the same inspection as the person that holds an annual license.
And they were floating state like fire code. And this all stems from the fire at the Rhode Island, the big one. So I guess after that, all like state fire prevention codes were changed. So that's where this is stemming from, and they're just now kind of like.
You know what he's creating in all these old buildings we got all over this city, right?
It destroys the character of a historic city. When you- Yeah, I
think the mayor's involved.
But for the inside event, that, I mean, no matter, for this event that's coming up, that has nothing to do with what we're talking about today, because that's an inside event, right? The 250? The Boys and Girls Club.
Boys and Girls.
Well,
Yeah.
they still need a sign off indoor or outdoor.
No, I know, no, I'm saying that was an indoor event.
Yes.
So that has nothing to do with what we're discussing today, because that would still need fire department approval.
But in the
Correct.
past, they wouldn't have required it.
So-
in spring.
have you
Well-
ever attended Golden Gloves?
No.
Hundreds of people in that very same space. It's no fire trap. You know, the difference between the service of liquor and the lack of service of liquor is nothing but leverage. It's really
I-
not a well thought through policy, in my opinion.
And,
But it's really out of our hands.
yeah, and.
Yeah, I get that too.
So the real thing we need to discuss is a change. Do you want to, sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm, the applicants, they're upset because, there's no middle ground, and I can understand that, like, my thing is like, okay, how can we do this that satisfies everybody, but they can still have their event, so, the fire prevention is not willing to, it's just, they're straight to their guns, basically.
I'll also just quickly, I came up, it's technically on the 1 day applications, under like the rule, like the.
That's what I'm getting to.
Okay. You don't want me to, okay.
That's what I was waiting. I was letting Alex go. You're talking about this 100 thing. Okay, well, I wanted to go next, so. The thing we needed to discuss is that this, for events over 100 people, a fire department safety inspector must be arranged by the applicant prior to submitting this application. That's no longer valid. So we need to approve whether we take it out or some kind of verbiage in here that lets people know what's going on, because that's no longer valid.
Sure. I mean, why would we have a form that gives people bad information? Has the fire department suggested language they prefer to see here?
They just want us to take that out, so people are not confused, I think.
So just say nothing and have the for official use.
Exactly.
Shouldn't we? I mean, shouldn't we just say safety inspector is required for all, just so people know?
Yeah, no, whatever you guys.
I don't know. I think we should have something that states that it's required for everything.
So are we sure that's absolutely the case?
Yeah,
Yes,
according
it's
to
absolutely the
fire
case.
Laws, yes.
You said the mayor was there, I mean.
The mayor was there. There were some issues between the buildings department and the fire department not agreeing on this, and which brought everyone in.
Yeah. With the building department. I mean, it doesn't facilitate this to just put accurate information on the form, so, you know. So basically, it would just be eliminating the word for events over 100.
That's what I see. So Jack, do we need to make a motion on that? Okay.
If you're changing the language, yes.
So want to make a motion to scratch from the application for special one-day alcohol beverage license that's for events over 100 people to be scratched, and for just to say a fire department safety inspection must be arranged by the applicant prior to submitting this application.
Sure.
Second that, all those in favor? Aye, so moved. All three license board commissioners present have voted in favor on the update to the application for special one-day alcohol beverage license. Okay, sorry, I was just waiting. Go ahead.
Okay, I was just gonna say another thing that came up. Technically, the application states that it needs to be in 4 weeks prior to the event. The fire department is basically saying we need to enforce that.
I'm gonna,
Can we get legal in here and have some of these people here to talk to them?
Yeah.
This is so undermining of the social fabric of this community. And so, yes, a hideous, horrible tragedy happened 19 years ago. And a guy gets a job in 2022, and the whole ecosystem of our license process gets upended. I mean, really? That's how things work in 2022?
They kept asking us, like, the two fire people, especially Lewis here, kept wondering, like, who put this application together? And so, well, we inherited it, like.
Where-
Because they kept wanting to know, like, where is this state, like? and
where's the 4-week part?
That's.
Right on top.
Page. No, it's different. You got the whole thing. Yeah, it's like number 1 right there.
So Boulais, do you know since you've been here the longest? How these back?
It's been like that.
Yeah,
Not making it 20 years.
no, yeah.
It's been like that.
But yeah, they were like, oh, who wrote?
I'm not adding
who wrote this? Where did you pull this from? He's like, we inherited all this.
So why,
If that's not actually the policy we've been enacting, then maybe the task for us is to change the instructions to reflect our actual
And that's why,
policy.
that's why I wanted to bring it up too, because he said, I don't know if that is from some kind of official law, or if that's just something that the license board decided. Because I wouldn't want to just delete something if it's like a required, technical requirement, but obviously it's not something we've been strictly enforcing, because we know events come up relatively short notice, so.
Yeah.
And we only meet once a month. I tried making that point, and
I'm trying to remember during the meeting, were they saying this, they were stating this was a law somehow?
because he was saying, he was taking it literal, like the way it's written.
Then I say, I agree with Michael.
We gotta review the form, and we've probably gotta have legal to tell us, well,
Yeah.
what's the authority that, the authority can be, we've set a policy on how we want to manage our applications.
Because I honestly have no idea where these.
Right.
I would think this would reference a law. If it was a law.
If it was a law, or, but it might also have been that some 3 people on this board 30 years ago.
Yeah.
said, I don't want to deal with these things if they don't give us 4 weeks notice. And since that time, we've been like, well, no, a lot of people can't.
I have never remember touching any of these issues
We've always known.
in the
it
20
there.
years I've been here.
Yeah, it's mostly a form that sits in a drawer, and it's probably good practice to look at it, but
I mean, ideally,
Yeah.
yes, we would get us
Yeah.
stuff well ahead of time. That is always the goal.
Do we want to just update it to a time? Because we also have to think about the fire department, but I would say no more than 1 week.
I mean, so. at
What do you
point
think?
You guys really need to say, listen, it's just too late, we can't help.
Well, if somebody walked in my office this morning and dropped off an application, depending on the event, I'm not gonna be mean and say, no, I'm not gonna take it, because
Yeah.
we only meet once a month, so we
Right.
take that into consideration, that we only meet once a month.
And I actually love that, because
we have
that's.
always been pro-business in
Yeah.
the city.
And that's what I
This
told
will
them
be
that.
seen as-
Anti-business.
Yeah.
And And in addition to that, it's also, it's good service to our community. I
But
mean,
it's
we're,
not
we're
us.
trying to work with people,
Yeah,
not,
but at this point, I don't feel like it's the license board because
Right.
the fire prevention also needs enough time to go out to inspect. So if somebody brings this in a week, who's to say that Luis Izquierdo has that week available to go do the inspection?
and that's actually reasonable. I mean, there are practical things that, there's also sometimes people want events, they gotta deal with the DPW. Obviously, if you're just rolling in a day, then you have to say, love to help you, but,
Right,
right?
right.
But in that case, we don't have to necessarily be the barrier. It's just what in the practical real world do all the departments need for lead time?
I mean, but also we could I actually think the point of just scratching it is why it works is because our clause says a fire department safety inspection must be arranged by the applicant prior to submitting this application.
Right.
So I think we can just scratch the week or put in a day or 2 days because it's really the applicant is supposed to have it done before this comes into this office. Do you see the timing of the pipeline?
I like where you're going with that. I agree with that. We can just.
But I don't want to make it a zero timeline. I think we should keep it at something to help Alex out. What do you want? What do you think it should be?
It's what you just said is I shouldn't be accepting it until the fire station signs off on it.
Yes,
Okay, I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
because now you're pushing it back to say, well, look, it says it right on the application. It says the fire department has to sign off. And now you're just, anything that comes in, no, I can't take this. The fire department has to sign off on it first. And let the fire department be the one being the one executing the law, and it takes it totally out of our hands.
So, can I make a suggestion? We
Yes,
could make a motion to amend this form. But I do think it would probably be a good idea to just have the law department do a review and just make sure there isn't some statute we're unaware of that backs this up.
That's what the fire department kept saying about for 4 weeks.
Okay.
They kept claiming that that was backed by some law. I have never seen it. I don't like it.
Well,
So
when I got a fire, I'm calling them. When I need a legal question answered, I'm going to the law department.
rather than just scratch it, should we just shorten it to like a week or 3 days and then make it contingent upon the law department approval?
No, I would actually just let them tell us, if you can't remove it, here's why, and then we can figure out what language would make sense. But otherwise, yeah,
if we're getting legal, we can't touch it.
yeah.
It wouldn't make sense to change it. And then-
Or let's just request the assistance of the law department. Is it permissible to eliminate or modify this clause number 1?
Do you want to email Kathleen or do you want me to do it?
Oh, we can do it.
You do it? Okay, can you just copy me on it?
Yeah, because I think otherwise it's spot on. I mean,
Okay.
let's
I would just-
practical things drive it, not
And
some arbitrary date.
And just so it's not too much of a challenge for Alex, I would still like to keep some time there, whether it's a week, just even if we accept it sooner.
Yeah.
But just so it's stated to kind of get people to, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and you know what? We can take your recommendations. I'd listen to them.
Well, it's gonna be physically impossible for them to show up the day.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I told them, I was like, yeah, but this is how you're gonna be. St. Patrick's Day is gonna be a nightmare.
For them,
Yeah.
But definitely,
we're not the bad guys.
when if this is not filled in, just hand it back and just say, no, you have to get the fire department approval. All, once you have the form updated.
Out of our hands.
Okay, so next one. Implementing explicit communication to proceed during a review of each license application. So this has to do with, and it's more for the 1-day licenses. And as we get toward the end of the meeting, I sometimes find, for me, we go a little too quick. And so I don't know, and not a thing we have to settle on today, but do we need some kind of process where, all right, we have like a ready to proceed, and it's really, for me, it's only on the 1-day liquor licenses. It's not any of the other stuff, which is really straightforward, but I kind of like to have the time sometimes to like, I'm really concerned with security and obviously now, especially with the fire department, kind of,
But I think all those issues always get addressed when I take the license that we discuss.
say again?
So every single issue is always discussed in every single one license that we bring forward.
I've
I don't feel that is wrong.
I've personally found that there were some times where I'm literally reading the license and someone does a move to approve before I'm even done.
The person can make a move, but into the president doesn't say, okay, all in favor? He can say so move and can still stay there for a whole hour.
Yeah, and.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you just, okay,
The vote doesn't happen until you decide all in favors.
okay, but now let's say at the point, let's say I'm, okay, but let's say it's now another situation.
Uh-huh.
Michael makes a move to approve. I second it. I do it all in favor. Two of us approve it, but you're still reading it.
I think you raise a fair point. We don't want to cut off deliberation just because we're trying to move a meeting along. I think that's absolutely fair. Two things about it. One is we're a board of three. So the use of Robert's rules is by its nature, a little bit more informal because we can basically talk to one another. And that you actually want that. That's a good thing.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think it's always fair game for anybody to say, I just haven't quite finished reviewing this yet. And I think the way you open that is just to say under discussion. Right?
Okay, or like a hold, please.
Right.
Something like that.
Right.
Okay.
Because you can do a discussion prior to any motion being made. You can do a discussion after a motion has been made and seconded. The chair can just close discussion. That's when you ask for the vote. But it's definitely, I think it's fair game, just a polite, under discussions like, hey, slow your roll, we got to kind of see what's going on. It's fair. I could see myself doing that because it's like, I'm not looking for concerns. I'm like waiting to hear them. I'm kind of happy. Honest to God, I want people to be able to
If
just.
there's a concern, somebody's gonna raise it right away.
Right.
Okay, so you're saying when the approval comes, someone just say, or I'll even say maybe just, oh, I'm still reviewing.
Right.
I'll just make it aware that we're holding off for a minute.
And
Okay.
and the point's absolutely fair because we should be doing a conscientious job of being gatekeepers here. Yeah.
It is a third point.
Oh, that's, yeah.
Okay, thank you. I think anyone want to add anything else?
No.
Okay, now, approval of minutes, it's actually not going to be the 10-5.
No, it's August 31st. I sent you guys.
They were sent around October 20th.
Right.
Does,
August 31st.
are people okay with an approval of that?
I am.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I want to make a motion to approve the minutes from
August 31st.
August 31st. That's right, because we had the meeting.
Second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
So moved. All three licensed board commissioners present have voted in favor of the approval of the minutes. So policy and procedures document section. Did everyone get a chance to start to review it?
Yes.
I had nothing on sections 1, 2, or 3, to be honest with you.
I largely agree. It's mostly definitional. It's mostly citing exactly the statutes it came out of. We're not here to be changing any statutes, so that's. I just want.
But that was only 3. I want to wait till when we get to 4, I have stuff because it's not, I felt it wasn't accurate.
Yeah, I have nothing to suggest. I think we could move beyond this now.
Okay, so want to approve one, make a motion, I want to make a motion to approve sections 1 through 3.
Yeah, second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
So moved. All 3 licensed board commissioners present have approved so far. Sections 1 of purpose, 2 of identification and location of local licensing authority, and 3 scope and statutory basis for regulation. Now I just want to take a second to review 4 because I did have some notes. Oh, that's right. It was section 4.2, 4.3, and 4.6.
PDF I'm looking at actually starts at section 3.37.
No way.
3.37,
Yeah,
I only have a 3.1 and then it goes to 4. Are they old? Do we have different versions?
I don't know, but can I take a copy of yours?
Mine?
Yeah, if you don't mind, and then I can provide it to.
Is this an older copy? I'm not sure.
I don't know, there's a whole bunch of these.
oh dear.
Should we stop and figure it out?
Yeah, they're all draft, they're not, it's nothing set in stone, but.
Good draft.
Oh, I know, but I'd like to see the latest.
Yeah,
I'd like to-
so this
So
PDF
Why don't we
last
go, this is
updated
7/9/2018.
8/28/19.
Yeah, when does, let's see what your draft. is.
Table of contents follows like this. And so there simply just isn't a section 4 attached to this one. I don't know if it was cut off or
Michael, does your cover sheet have an update? Yeah.
it's actually a later update than yours.
So then, okay, so then why don't we get the latest update and
Yeah.
then take it from there?
Yeah.
But also, there's no, like, nothing's.
Yeah, yeah. No, I don't want to go with an old update.
Right. But I think we can still put the although, talk to me about what you were looking at for section 3.
Well, my section 4 was composition of duties of location license authority. And I had, so the section I had was 4.2, which says members of the license board are appointed by the mayor of Holyoke and confirmed by Holyoke City Council. All vacancies shall be filled by the mayor for the remainder of the unexpired term in the same manner provided. And I just thought there was too much.
Somebody's being replaced.
Yeah. Are there page numbers on that?
4.
4.
But what
So-
section I didn't like was it says all vacancies shall be filled by the mayor for the remainder of the unexpired term.
Yeah,
But I thought terms just started over.
no, it turns out every
Part of
6
the
years,
definitional language.
okay? So
Because this
let's
is actually
say
section
you're
1.
going to the 3rd year of a 6-year term
And I leave.
and you quit. Somebody got to finish the remainder of that.
But does that new person get 6 years or only
No,
3?
you finish the remainder of that, and then when the new time for renewal comes, then the person gets a new 6 years.
Okay, then I'm gonna challenge you for a
Because
second.
that's the way it happened with me,
Oh, so that's why
20
we're
years
gonna,
ago.
when your,
I
Okay.
replaced somebody,
when your renewal happened this time,
uh,
what did your renewal letter say?
for 6 years.
When did your renewal expire?
I think it was a June something.
Did he renew at the time it expired then? I thought for some reason, I thought time had lapsed.
No, you go.
Time doesn't last. because
Okay, never mind.
They're checking
Okay.
with you way before that time.
Okay.
comes.
I didn't realize, okay.
Appointment have expired, but they continue to,
Yeah.
allowed to continue to serve until.
Yeah.
Yeah,
When
Yeah,
I first entered into the board, I entered finishing the last year of a person that was here.
Yeah.
Once that whole year was completed, then I was reappointed.
and that's not unusual for appointed positions. Elected positions have a very specific end,
Yeah.
but appointed positions, you can very often hold the seat until the next person is appointed. And their date technically kind of looks back. In other words, if it took 5 months to find somebody, you're actually getting a term for, 5 years and 7 months. So,
Yeah.
This is what we had happen. Well.
So since I
Yeah.
didn't start till September or October,
You replace somebody too.
I replaced Kim.
Yeah.
So my term really started back in June.
technically,
Mine is gonna go June to June.
right.
Okay,
And
and that's the,
and that
then
way you
that-
just keep a good time frame of this, because we're staggered, basically,
Yeah.
right? Every
Yes.
year or two, every.
so that
year.
scratches that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then the only one I had, the other question I had was about, there was a reporting section that stated that we create quarterly reports.
For who?
That was my question. That,
Already intended to go to city. I don't.
I mean,
want anything to do with
and it said we created report, it says on here, it says, and we'll discuss it when we get the updated version. But it said that we created reports for the mayor and that we filing a report of alcohol license granted fees related thereto and municipal.
Yeah.
You do that?
Yeah.
Okay, so we might just need to update this a little.
Yeah.
Because we're not doing, okay,
And by the way, aren't our minutes a
Yes.
report?
Yeah.
We don't.
Here you go, 3 months.
A compilation of the 3 minutes from 3 different months and put them into the quarterly.
Yeah.
That's what that is.
Please find a report.
The auditor, the
I
one
mean,
that.
'cause I will say,
How much money we.
there is some wisdom in our regularly communicating with our elected officials.
Yeah.
I don't think that's a
I
bad.
never lost that.
Because it does, and I want to, when we get the new one, then we're done with this, sort of. But it does say creating a quarterly report of its activities for the mayor.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But so then I'm gonna say, if that's on the new draft, we should probably, we'll talk about scratching it if we're not doing it.
or just modify it to say, minutes will be for
Yeah.
We're doing it anyway.
We do our annual. The annual report is for any revenue for the money we brought in. through
Yes,
right.
License renewals and 1 day, that's $30.
It's essentially a spreadsheet.
We have to send it to, it's a requirement to submit it to the ABCC.
Yep.
By the end of February for the previous year. We do that, so it could just be essentially just reinforcing that.
Now, if you're talking about giving a raise to the license board commission, that'd be great. Because 20 years here, been getting the same thing.
Well, would you like that added to the agenda for the next meeting? Because I was gonna add it.
Bottom of the beach report.
Do you want that added?
The city
Okay.
council would have to-
We should.
Um,
They're talking about some other commissions now getting some kind of stipends, this and that. They're talking about,
It's only like 2 or 3 boards that actually get money.
yeah.
Planning board.
But-
doesn't get paid.
This is
Yeah, I'm
about,
telling you.
5-hour
Oh,
meetings.
what do we call it?
this is about serving the people of Holyoke.
Oh, we have heard the people of Holyoke.
Right, and you've done it a lot.
40
Well, you
years.
obviously must love it
20 did for.
because you stay on it, so. So I want to make a motion to now table the minutes till we figure out the versioning and continue it with next month.
Sounds good.
Can I
Sorry,
get a
guys.
second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So moved. All 3 license board commissioners present have voted in favor of continuing the policy and procedure documents
You know,
till next month, but we do have the approval of sections 1, 2, and
when
3.
you're going towards retirement, every little package of the big help.
We're almost the same age.
I'm close to you guys.
And like I say, it's coming out soon. I guess I'll increase over.
So it says 2nd December, excuse me, meeting date discussion.
Yeah, I just wanted, just given holidays, I just was hoping we could like really nail down. a date.
We usually discuss it at the end of that meeting, that first meeting, but if you want any suggestion.
We could do it-
Talking
we
about
could do
the
it-
meeting.
Yeah, we're trying internally in our office for, they're requiring us to request time off ahead of time, so that's why.
Well, it's usually mid-month, so you're talking about the 15, you're talking about right there.
Formally nail it down, that way we
We
have.
can do that, we can definitely do that, not a problem.
So
We're in November, we just finished
we
today,
have a meeting on the 7th.
it will be the 7th and the 21st, or the 7th and, 7th and 21st. Literally, that's what it is.
So we're okay with settling on.
Right, 7th and 21st. 7th and 21st.
21st is gonna be fine. I will be in the air. I mean, I plan to be here.
What are you gonna do?
I plan to be here.
You are here?
I'm gonna be here. I mean, on the
I already
24th,
have
on the
December.
24th, I'm not gonna be here, but.
No, neither, all right, but yeah.
And this second meeting is just to
Type out
approve,
anything that's at the end.
right? But I should really be pushing for applicants to
You should
bring
be
it
pushing
in for
applicants to the
December 7th,
Yes.
right?
Yeah, they need to
Okay.
get their butt.
Yeah, no, they have a deadline of the 21st of November.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, the 21st is to clean up,
okay,
whatever we need to do in order to clean up, but yeah, we need to entice everyone that the things will be done by the 7th.
yes,
That will be our heaviest meeting.
yes,
The 21st will be just for,
yes.
So here's what I'd suggest to you. If you want to be even with where you were 20 years ago, it should be at 120. That's right.
Oh, you did
And
an
you're
inflation
just- and
calculation?
you're- Yeah, that's right.
That's
Then you're
a
just,
wishful
then
thinking.
you're just rolling even.
that's a wishful. thinking. We
75,
get a lot.
75 bucks in 2002, here says it's 123.74. I would round that up. Because you always round up when you're getting.
That's right.
Even somebody at the time was like.
Go
Yeah,
talk-
that's what it- okay, no
go talk
problem.
to the
But it's been
mayor.
like that for every year.
It's always been this amount. I'm sure the city council's been at the same amount too.
Oh, yeah, that's what
yeah.
school committee that they're.
I think it's the same amount, but it's a lot higher.
Well, it's 10 grand.
But didn't they change some stipends?
Grabber design.
Or was that, no, that was actually
10 grand
staff
versus $900.
rates, wasn't it?
We're not
And
saying we
that's
want
what-
10 grand, not at all, but.
Yeah, I mean, there's a certain amount of just public service
Exactly.
we do want to honor.
For sure.
I want to make the motion to close.
I will second that.
So wait, I want to make a motion to close our license board meeting at 6:32 for Wednesday, November 2nd.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, so moved. All three license board commissioners present have voted in favor of closing our meeting.